Hello.
Hello there, Koustav Mishra. I'm Arya, an AI interviewer with Polestar Robotics. Really appreciate you making time for this conversation. My goal today is to get to know your experience and how it matches this opportunity. This is meant to be a conversation, not an interrogation, so be yourself. And if you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask. Sound good?
Sounds good, Arya. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Koustav. Just to make sure we're on the same page before we get started, you're interested in the sales development representative role at Polestar Robotics, and you're currently based in India. Is all of that correct?
Yes, Arya, all of it is correct.
Awesome. Well, to kick things off and help us ease into the conversation, how is your day going so far?
Well, the day is fine, actually. I'm a bit sad, really, today because tomorrow's my birthday, so I am getting old. So that really is kicking in. Um, but yeah, the day is really fine.
Oh, happy early birthday. I completely understand that feeling of watching the numbers go up, but I hope you still find a great way to celebrate tomorrow. By the way, what's the weather like where you are today?
It's been raining for the past couple of weeks. It sometimes rains cats, like cats and dogs. It sometimes rains, intermittently, but the rain has not stopped for the past few weeks, and so yeah, cloudy, rainy, windy. That's all about the weather.
That sounds like perfect weather to stay cozy indoors, even if it's a bit much after a few weeks. So, before we dive into the specific details of the role, could you walk me through your background and what got you interested in this opportunity with Polestar Robotics?
Well, I have been in the industry of sales for a good part of 3 years now. I started my career in B2C sales with Felicity before moving on to a B2B role in Dialeads, wherein I worked in contract with the likes of Payoneer and Incref. Post which, I was the founding SDR at Narrative, SDR at NextBillion.ai, and now at my current role, growth head at Author.ai. So I have been a sales development rep through my career, through the career that I know of, and I feel I can bring that experience, that knowledge into this role of SDR at Polestar Robotics. So that is why I have applied here, and I'm hoping to crack it.
That is a really impressive trajectory, Kostov. Going from B2C to B2B, and even being a founding SDR, to start looking at that experience, could you walk me through how you typically managed outbound prospecting cycles in your previous roles?
Well, I have a very structured uh, way of reaching out to prospective leads. Of course, first I'm going to be researching the leads that I want to reach out to, make sure they fit the right ICP, make sure that they are the decision maker, they have the decision making capacity, that they have the budget to use our solution, whether they the decision will come, that hoping that the sales process won't be too long. Once I have gone through that research, I start with emailing these prospects so that I have a conversation opener for them when I get on a cold call with them. Because if they pick up the call, then I can mention, hey ABC, I sent out an email trying to talk to you about what my company does, yada yada yada. If calling does not work, I reach out via LinkedIn, send a LinkedIn connection request, then a message, maybe a nudge or two on their own posts by commenting. Basically, it's a multi touch cycle through email, calls, and LinkedIn, hoping that at least one of them works. Of course, that is how my outbound looks like. And I track this all through CRM like or CRM or HubSpot, whichever the company is currently using. I also have my own Excel sheet, making sure that I am following the touch points to the core.
Got it. It sounds like you have a really solid multi-channel approach to getting on their radar. Since you mentioned using emails, cold calls, and LinkedIn, which of those specific outreach channels have you found to be the most effective for your target audience in your past roles?
Well, if I'm being honest, it really depends from market to market. In Southeast Asia and in India, cold calls are the gold standard because there is a lot of pickups, a lot of meetings come through cold calls in the India region. But when you move to US region, most of these calls end up in voicemail, and you know, no matter how good of a voicemail you're leaving, uh, callbacks are very rare and far few in between. So it is mostly LinkedIn and emails that work in the US. So yeah.
That makes total sense. It really is a night and day difference, depending on the region you're targeting. Moving over to the inbound side of things, how do you typically approach qualifying inbound leads to make sure they're actually a strong fit for the sales funnel?
Well, there are few questions that help us understand whether they have the right pain point. These are discovery questions that make sure that we understand, whether they are the right decision maker for our product, whether they have the decision making capacity, whether they have the right budget. As I mentioned, that these are part of the research you need to do before you reach out to a lead, and this is also something that you need to do when the leads come to you. You have to make sure that you're not wasting time chasing inbound leads that are going to end up going nowhere. So you need to make sure that you ask them the right questions about why they need you, whether you are a right fit for them, and whether they are a right fit for you, by making sure that they are the right decision maker with the right uh, you know with hopefully a small sales cycle. Even if it is long, it shouldn't be too long, like 2 years, 3 years. That does not make sense really. And of course they should have the budget to make use of your software.
I see. So, really focusing on those key indicators like budget, decision making authority, and the length of the sales cycle. When you're evaluating all of that, what specific criteria do you prioritize the most when deciding whether a lead is ready to be passed along to an account executive?
Well, the criteria that matters the most is whether they have the right pain point, because if they have a pain point that we can solve for them, even if there is no budget right now, if we can make them understand, okay, that this is a problem for you that we can solve, maybe they can make the budget available. And what also matters here is that the person has the ability to make the budget available, even if it is not like these people need to be people in charge of that specific process. So that is very important in this specific.
Got it. So, identifying that pain point and ensuring you're talking to someone who actually has the influence to make things happen, even if the budget isn't quite there yet. Now, we all know that prospecting comes with its fair share of rejection. Can you describe a time you faced significant rejection while prospecting and how you managed to keep your momentum going?
Well, at one of my previous companies, I was reaching out to logistics companies. See, logistics companies are very traditional in the sense that they don't really trust new softwares, or you know, they don't really have a need in their mind for new software, so they rarely respond to reach outs. But I made sure that I am not dissuaded by the constant ignoring. I rather used it to make sure that I experimented with my outreach. I tried LinkedIn, email, different sorts of Loom videos, etc., in order to make sure that I am not, you know, I'm not
I
being disappointed by the no's, the ignoring, because It is important to be persistent as a salesperson. If you are dissuaded early by rejections, that you are going to go nowhere. That is my whole ideology.
That is a really resilient mindset to have, especially when dealing with more traditional industries like logistics. What specific strategies do you use to stay resilient and keep that positive attitude up during those particularly challenging sales weeks?
Well, I have this habit of always smiling before a cold call, or always, smiling, trying to smile. Even if it's been a bad day, I try to make sure that I'm smiling before a cold call, before a call with the leads, because that smile translates into my body language, and I feel that is something that helps with making sure I'm focused through it all.
I love that. It's amazing how much a simple smile can actually change the tone of your voice on a call. How do you manage your daily workflow to balance that kind of high volume outreach with keeping your records accurate in the CRM?
Well, mm, I make sure that I have set out a specific time for keeping my CRM healthy, making sure that you know that 1 or 2 hour of my day, there are no meetings there. There are no nothing disturbing me, so that I can keep my CRM clean and healthy and ready to be shared whenever anyone asks for. So yeah.
That kind of dedicated time blocking is so key for keeping things organized. Looking at your journey so far, I noticed you've had a few roles that were shorter in duration, with some transitions happening under a year. Could you help me understand what usually led to your decisions to move on to new opportunities?
It's nothing really. These were contract roles, so once my contract was up, I was free to negotiate with other companies. If most of these companies came in with a better contract, with better pay, higher pay, so I moved on for better opportunities. But if it's a full time role, it's a full time role. I would love to, stay longer, gain more responsibilities. That's about it.
That makes complete sense. Non contract roles naturally have those transitions, and it's completely understandable to look for growth and better opportunities. And what is your current notice period with your employer?
Well, my current notice period is 15 days. So, yeah.
Got it. 15 days is very manageable. Well, Koustav, I really appreciate you sharing all of this with me today. Before we wrap things up, do you have any questions for me about Polestar Robotics or the role?
No, no, of now, Arya, I will ask if any questions arise in further rounds of interview. Thank you.
That sounds like a plan. Our team will review everything and get back to you within 2 to 3 business days. Thanks again for your time, Koustav. And I hope you have a fantastic birthday tomorrow. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You